Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and today we're going to be talking about a new interview for Pokemon Sword and Shield. This one's coming from Famitsu, so it has tons of new information. If you end up enjoying the video, don't forget to leave a like, all those other things, something, Verlisify, G Fuel. Let's just get into it because it's insane. At the Nintendo Treehouse the other day, Mr. Masuda mentioned Pokemon Home and Pokemon Sword and Shield about Pokemon that can go back and forth. As a development side, I think it's a very big decision, but please give us some remarks on the process and your feelings for narrowing down Pokemon brought into Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now I do want to make a note, this is directly translated from Famitsu, hard move to Nintendo Switch. So there's a little bit of jank grammar. And it became possible to draw Pokemon with more beautiful graphics and liveliness, but on the other hand, it took more time to develop than before. On the other hand, the total number of Pokemon has exceeded 1,000! Wait a second, we're at like 800 now because of generation. Oh wait, no, never mind. Including new Pokemon and the form change of existing Pokemon. So this is going to be the primary focus of the video. I want to wrap up with this paragraph and then we'll get into it. As a result, it has become extremely difficult to make Pokemon with a new personality play an active part and to balance the game competitively, in addition to making the graphic quality adapt to changes to the hardware and also in terms of battle. That's the reason for the decision, and we've decided that it's difficult to make all Pokemon appear in future works. And then going off of another interview, Game Freak said that there's not going to be every Pokemon in every game from here on out, or at least every main series game. I'm like waiting for the Battle Revolution Switch or like the crazy spin-off title that brings all the Pokemon into one place, but it's not going to be main series. It's not going to be Pokemon Home Interactive, and this just kind of shows that it's not laziness. It wasn't because of development constraints. It wasn't because Pokemon Sword and Shield needs to be delayed. It's that they just feel like you can't represent every Pokemon fairly by just slapping them all in and having half of them rot in the PC. They want the region to feel alive. They want all of the Pokemon to have purpose and meaning, and then that's going to make the game more balanced competitively. Has a little bit to do with development, but then why not just have them all in Generation 4 remakes or the next game when there's definitely enough time to have developed them all? They just think that it's not worth including every Pokemon because there's just too many at this point. So, let's talk about the 1,000 Pokemon. We have Meltan, Melmetal, bringing it to 808, 809, and then we also have 12 Pokemon revealed so far when it comes to Pokemon Sword and Shield. But this is where things start to get fancy on the form changes, because is this like specific language, form change? That has to be something that takes the Pokemon to a different form in a meaningful way that makes it feel changed. Because, you can't really debate that. When it comes to Mega Evolution, that's going to be 48 different forms of a Pokemon. But there's also a lot of like competitive or battle changes or other forms that feel like they are very impactful, not necessarily just being Mega Evolution. We also have regional variants. So Alolan Pokemon. There's 18 Alolan Pokemon. I wish there were more in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and we didn't get any more, but yeah, so we had 18 overall, and it's weird because these are the same Pokedex, but these Pokemon are completely different in pretty much every way except for the base stat total. So that's going to be another 18, already bringing us to 66. Now, does that mean we're at 875, and there's going to be like 126 Pokemon in Generation 8? Well, let's go a bit deeper into the forms. Now, I don't know if this really counts. When you think about it, taking Pikachu, dressing it up, is that all these new forms? That means now we're already going from like 66 to absurd numbers or something like that. I don't know. But Cosplay Pikachu, maybe just this Pikachu itself is a single extra form, and then all of this is just like cosmetic stuff on top of that. Same with Ash Pikachu. It's just Pikachu with a cap. So I don't think that's too much. Spiky Eared got left behind and hasn't been able to transfer into Generation 5. So does she count or not? I don't know. And then it's unknown. So let's think about unknown. Alphabet, that's 30. Arceus, well, that's going to be all the typings. And then Silvally, that's going to be all the typings. I mean, it feels like if you count every single alternate form and design of a Pokemon, we're already at 1,000. So let's kind of look for some of the more significant ones. I feel like Deoxys forms, these should count. So maybe 69, something like that. These are definitely different Pokemon. They exist in the wild. They, not necessarily in the wild, but they exist in a meaningful way. And the Pokemon are purposefully changed to where they actually act differently. They have different stats, they have different abilities, they have different ways, they even have different movesets. So that's going to be 4 more right here. So 73? Maybe not on the Charm, it's effectively the same Pokemon, just blossoms out. This is a big cosmetic change, and it does have different catching requirements, but it also doesn't change the stats of the Pokemon. maybe we'll add them. 75, 5 Rotom forms, 80, 81, 82 because Shaman Skyform is different. So yeah, like Shaman Skyform almost feeling like a Mega Evolution. A lot of what happens with the forms of mythical and legendary Pokemon does feel kind of like regional variant-y Mega Evolution level of a form change. So acknowledged as a large form change. 81, like I said, Arceus giving an item and changing into typing isn't really a form change, so let's not really include that. Not really too much of a difference here. These guys though, like Game Freak put a lot into the seasons when it came to representing this Pokemon. So does this mean we're like up to 87, 88, 89, 90? Like this is another thing. Like, okay, Therian forms, those are 100% it. We also have the Kyurem forms. So that's going to be 92, 93, 94. Again, item change, maybe 95. The Vion is also kind of weird in its own because we have like all of these, but they don't really do anything. It's just based on where you catch them. So that's the thing. These are just colors, cosmetic, not really too much of change. Cosmetic, in battle only temporarily. These actually have different stats, but are effectively just the same Pokemon of different sizes. And then you also have to think Kyogre, Groudon. So I mean, 90 something. These definitely count. So 100. Let's just like round it off to 100 maybe. Oh yeah, and then we also have Lycanroc. Lycanroc. These are 3 effectively different species of Pokemon given the same Pokedex entry that are also different in their own way. So we have the different forms, that's going to be 2 more. Wishiwashi, that's temporary. Minior, that's temporary in battle, same with Mimikyu. And then Necrozma. We never saw the original color Magearna, even though it has game data. And then there's just like Overdrive and Radiant forms and things like that that really didn't exist. So yeah. I guess if we just say, like, there's 100 forms that can count as forms, that's kind of fair. If we just include everything, that's where things kind of get weird. So, 90 Pokemon in Generation 8, at least on this? I feel like it would have been better for Masuda to say, yeah, we're going to be introducing 100 new Generation 8 Pokemon. Do you really want all of this running around right now? But by using 1,000, I think he's trying to really get that sympathy, you know, make it understanding. That if there's someone that's just being an idiot, outraged that they're making it to where now my Pokemon are dead forever and I can't ever have my favorites with me ever again, you know, just the people that are completely wrong in their hatred of this decision, it's like, look, there's 1,000 Pokemon, or there's going to be 1,000 individual Pokemon that feel like they have their own representation. We just can't make it work anymore. And when you think about it, you know, maybe 2 or 3 of someone's favorite Pokemon won't be in a single game. But then everything else will be, and the games are just going to be better because of it. You're going to be able to appreciate the Pokemon you have more. You're going to be able to appreciate the competitive scene, and then they still exist, and they're still lively in Pokemon Home. Pokemon Bank for Pokemon Sun and Moon is where your National Dex is. Pokemon Home is where your National Dex is. So you catch all the Pokemon in Galar, you catch all Generation 8 Pokemon, National Dex updates, boom, you still have a living Dex. What's the problem? The Pokemon aren't dead. You know, they're not gone. Certainly, considering the graphic quality of Pokemon Sword and Shield, seems like it'll take a considerable amount of time to build all the Pokemon. You know, the decision is personally sad. Of course, I wanted to be able to bring all Pokemon if I could do it. It was also a decision that I had to make in the end. I had no choice but the quality. And I think that that's a good thing, you know, quality over quantity at this point. Just making sure that Galar is going to be the best games possible. Now we can start talking about like Pokemon Home and some of the other details. So Pokemon Home is at the center, and that's actually what they showed with the Pokemon press conference. Pokemon Home is at the center, Pokemon Bank transfers in, Let's Go transfers in, Go transfers in, and then Pokemon Sword and Shield is effectively just going to be how you use Pokemon Home interchangeably. So, with Pokemon Sword and Shield, such a new reform, but what should be considered with works compared to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, released on the same hardware from the Nintendo Switch. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, based on Pokemon Pikachu, Pokemon Sword and Shield will be a new stage to show how to make a fundamental game. The nature of the play is different, however I use what was developed in the library on the base part. Trying to make all people happy. It's important that your children play and understand. Of course, I think it should be enjoyed by those who wish to develop deeper Pokemon and play battles. Corresponds to various ways of play. A lot of new elements such as Dynamax Wild Area have already been announced. What part are you focusing on the most? I am Max Raid okay, so let's go to... I thought there was a little bit extra. Wait, I think I skipped it. 1 second. Okay, so is this part talking about like the transfer of Pokemon Home? I hope you bring your Pokemon to Pokemon Home, and it'll be like going out to the various titles from there. Pokemon's feeling is, this region is cold, so you're away from home. And I think that's kind of like how they're going to sell this one, is that, well, Galar is too cold, so the Pokemon don't belong there or something like that. I was hoping that would be more customs based or something, because we already have like what happened with Yungoos and Rattata. Yungoos came from an unknown region, and then crazy things happen with Rattata, and now the Yungoos population is out of control. So it's one of those things where it's like, hey, we like to keep the Galar region as Galar, so we just don't let people bring those Pokemon over, but you still have home. You know, the Pokemon are home. I want to prepare some kind of play. And they also want to make, you know, other things to do inside of Pokemon Home, which I think is going to be great. It's not going to take away from those Pokemon at all. And to kind of clarify that mess, I found a better translation, or like a recap of what's going on. So according to Masuda, Pokemon Home would have some playable features. See, you can still interact with the Pokemon. We'll also have connections to future games, of course. More details of Pokemon Home, the home for all your Pokemon. If a Pokemon is compatible with a game, it'll leave for an adventure. If the Pokemon is not native to a certain region because it's too cold, they will stay in home waiting for their next adventure. So I mean, they're home. The Pokemon are just home with you instead of out on the adventure. They're at their home, and you can visit your home whenever you want. So why are people upset? This actually feels like it works with the core of Pokemon and just understanding what Pokemon is about. So there we go, guys. That's the interview, talking about it, breaking down the 1,000 Pokemon, how many that means. It's still hard to tell, but it at least suggests a large amount of Pokemon. And I kind of like added ones, maybe I was a little loose with it, and it said over 1,000. So it's not like Junichi Masuda's, we're capping it at 1,000 Pokemon, including the arbitrary definition of forms. We already have 12 Generation 8 Pokemon, so they might just be like, hey, let's do like 103. That's gonna be my guess. 103 Generation 8 Pokemon, especially with how many that have already been revealed, compared to Pokemon X and Y, compared to Pokemon Sword and Shield, or not Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon. I think it's gonna be good. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.